What is up, guys? I am going to be talking a little bit about chess today because it's something that I fully know and I want to teach something, and chess is fun. Everyone thinks it's super complicated. It could be that way at first, but once you start learning how the pieces move, it's super fun. And on the bright side, everyone thinks you're super smart if you play it. Okay, so we have here our chessboard. Our chessboard is consisted of 8 by 8 squares. Each of these squares has a position, and so one of the most common moves is e4 for white. And then we can see here it records our positioning, and we can see here we have the 4 here and the e. And will you, as a casual player, ever write down your moves or have to memorize your moves? No. Professional players and people that are trying to get better do record every move that they make simply because they want to become better and they want to see how they can improve through seeing like their mistakes that they did in the prior game. And so here we have pawn going to e3, and these pawns, since we are already starting on it, can move twice on their first move. You can see here that these pawns have not been moved yet because they're on their second row, same as theirs. Their pawns are on their second row, and so they can also move twice. And they can continue moving twice with any one of my pawns. They all have that power to move twice on their first move. However, after the first move, you can only move once. If we tried to move their pawn twice, you see it doesn't work. And so, just remember to take advantage of that 2 space, because you don't want to 1 space everything and then they'll be 2 spacing everything and they will be more in control or closer to you a lot faster than you will if you're just moving 1 space. Alright. Now the pawns, these guys just move forward, but they can get stuck, and it really sucks because sometimes have this stupid pawn in front of me and I can't move anywhere else. And so the only way for a pawn to continually move forward when stuck is for it to capture a piece diagonally. So I can show it here when we move this. This pawn can move diagonally, and that's how it captures pieces. It cannot capture any piece going forward. That's just not how the pawns work. Any other piece can, but the pawns can't. And so here we have that it captures, and my pawn is gone. He has 1 point. These pawns are worth 1 point. And so let's see how else to go here. And so this pawn might want to take my pawn, but at least I can go forward. Later on it doesn't work out because then they will take my pawn again, but that's just a representation of how you can get pawns off of your lane in order for you to continue going forward. So that was the pawns. Next we're going to talk about the bishops. Bishops move diagonally. You have 2 bishops. You have 1 bishop on white and 1 bishop on black. This is their black bishop. You can go diagonally any direction and can go as far as it wants any direction. So right here we have the limit of where this is our limit because we can't continue going diagonally. You can go here, capture that. We can go back, and we can go up to here simply because this pawn is blocking us from going anywhere further. Here, we're blocked in, and so we can't initially start with our bishop. So we need, this is why this move, e4, is so important. Because you're allowed to move your bishop and already start attacking anything that's in front of you. And so next piece would have to be the knight. This knight is also very famous for being the second piece moved because the knights can jump over pieces. And so here I'm going to jump over a piece, and now it's attacking this pawn because these knights attack in L's or T's, however you want to see it. You can be a T, but you're only focusing on one. So right here is an L, right here is an L. Let's see. Capture that. You can go here, that's an L, that's an L. This is an L, but there's a piece there, so I can't go there. This is an L, where I came from. That's an L. Oh. That's an L, and that's an L. And so we can see that the knights have lots of attacking. It has lots of attacking potential. And so this is very famous because, you know, when they want to have a quick point, you go here, and now the enemy has to think, oh, what do I have to do in order to block or not have this knight take this pawn for free. And so you can defend by going that. Okay, so yeah, knights, important thing to just know about knights, they can go over pieces and they move in an L shape. Next we have the rooks. The rooks are very simple. Rooks can go up, down, and sideways. So we can see here, I can move sideways. I cannot move diagonally like the bishops can. I cannot move in an L shape like the knights can. But I can go forward in the same way it captures, it's going forward and backwards. So you can just capture stuff going forward. Oh. Okay. Anyhow, that's how the rooks work. Go forward, backwards, sideways. They need to, just like the bishops and every other piece, they cannot jump over pieces. And so I need to move this pawn in order to move my rook when it's my turn, of course. Second to lastly is the queen. Queen is the most powerful piece in the game. Queen is worth 8 points. And it's worth that much because it has the potential to move like a bishop, so sideways. Sideways. And you can move like a rook, up, down, and sideways. And that's why it's 8 points, because it has the 5 points of the rook and the 3 points of the bishop. So we can go here. We can go here if we wanted to. You can go anywhere. And that's why the queen is so important, because it has the potential to go anywhere. And that is like a crazy powerhouse. You can ruin people's games and completely just using your queen. And so hopefully you guys can use a queen wisely. The bad thing about taking out your queen early is that it's more likely for you to lose it early on. And so make sure to be careful when you do that. Lastly, we have our king. Our king is the game. The second our king gets captured, we lose the game. And so it kind of stinks because the king can only move one square at a time. That's why you want to keep your king protected. And so right now I'm just moving pieces to show you guys how the king can move. But in general, you do not want to have your king out here in the open. So you can see, king can move to any square that isn't being, that doesn't have a piece in it, and it can only move one square at a time. And so it's kind of cool. Like I can do whatever I freaking want as long as I don't get captured. And now that I've explained some of the pieces and how they work, I'm going to explain some of the special moves. And there's only two in this game. And one of them is called the En-passant, which is done by pawns, and the other one is called castling, which is done to protect your king. So the En-passant works like this. Let's say we do this. Let's say moving pieces, chilling out, thinking hard. And I choose to use my pawn and go twice here. So black here has the chance to do the En-passant. En-passant only works when the pawn moves twice and I am literally next to it. And so when that happens, I can go right here and literally capture it even though we're on the same line. Let me redo that. So if I move this guy right here, we're on the same line, and black wants to capture me, and I'm trying to do something, trying to make like a triangle here to protect everything, but black knows that he can do the En-passant here, and he goes here and captures me. This doesn't work with pieces that have already moved twice. Like this guy right here moved twice already. So if I go here, it doesn't work. You have to be there right when it happened. The move right after. Right here. Got that En-passant. Next, I'm going to be doing a castle. Castles are used to protect your king. Like I said, the king is the whole game. The second your king gets captured, you lose the whole game. And so, let's start out normal play. Gonna move my knight. I can go over pieces. Move that. My bishops move diagonal. And then the knight, the way that castling works is once your king and your rook have like two spaces between them, you can castle. And it switches them. So now your king is safe and sound in its own little wall. And this is good because it also allows you to take out your rook and put it into play. Now I can take it out here because rooks go up and down and sideways. Alright. Things that prevent you from castling, because you can't always do this. This is only for special occasions. And the way it works is if I accidentally move my rook, or if I want to move my rook for some reason, I can no longer castle. It won't let me. See? It won't change. It won't change them. The bad thing about this is now that my king is still stuck in the middle, and the middle is like one of the most vulnerable spots. The sides are more protective than the middle because everything can just attack to the middle. We already have this middle open, and so castling is important because I keep it to the side and it's protected by all these pawns. If someone takes a pawn here, I can capture that and I'm good. And so make sure you guys castle because honestly it can define the whole game. This time now, I'm going to castle queenside. And so, quick recap on castle and kingside. So, you have to take these two, the knight and the bishop, out. I can't take out the bishop until I move this freaking pawn. So there I have it. And then I can castle. Right. Castle and queenside, we have to do the same thing. But castle and queenside is harder because we have to move 3 pieces. Here we have to only move 2 in order for us to switch the king and the rook. Here we have to castle. Here in order to castle we have to move these 3 because they're in the middle of them. And so let's do this, that. We're gonna take out queen, take out knight, bishop. Well, we have to move the pawn because the bishop's stuck there. We need it to be able to get out. Now it's out. Now I can do this. So with this one, we move over 2, and then the rook comes right next to it. And that's the same thing with king side. We move over 2, and then the rook moves right up next to it. And so that's basically it. Those are the basics of chess. Just through this video, you're able to know the knowledge of how to play with anyone around the world, because chess is the same everywhere. There are no house rules. The En-passant is not a house rule. A lot of people don't know about it, but you know, if you're playing someone and you do it on them, tell them to Google it and you should be fine. Same thing with castling. People that are casual chess players don't really know sometimes about castling. Show them Google because it's a thing, it's a rule, not a house rule. To end, I'm just going to review over the point systems. And so these pawns are worth 1 point. So they're not as important as any other piece. They could be. The second a pawn reaches the end, because these guys only move forward, once they reach the end of the chessboard, they can turn into any freaking piece that you want. It can be another queen, it can be a knight if you need a knight for some reason. Usually people just go for queens because they're the most valuable piece on the board. And so, pawn, 1 point. Next we have the rooks that are worth 5 points. We have the knights that are worth 3 points. Bishops also worth 3 points. These two are worth the same amount. If you're better with knights, give up your bishops if you guys have to trade something. But just know that they're the same value. And when it comes down to it, you should just stick with what you're better at. Queen is worth 8 points because it has the powers of the rook, which is going up, down, sideways, and that's 5 points, and the powers of the bishop, which goes diagonal, in its color, which is 3 points. So 5 plus 3, 8. That's the value of the queen as well. And then the king, the value is the game. So if you lose the king, you lose the game. And that's it. Those are the rules. Thank you for watching. I know this video was a little longer than I wanted it to be, but this is everything you need to know in order to play a game. And I will catch you guys next time. Thank you.